And I will fulfill our sacred obligation to care for our troops and their families, and I will always honor and never disparage their service and their sacrifice.
Governor Walz served 24 years.
Sure.
He even stayed after he could have retired because of 9/11, more than the country asked of him. Do you honor his service?
I honor his service, and I've never criticized what Tim Walz did when he was in the military. I criticized his retirement decision, and most importantly, Dana, I criticized his lying about his own record, okay? This is a guy who was captured on video saying, I carried a gun in war. He never went to war. This is a guy who's been captured on video. As other people say, he's an Afghanistan veteran. He's a veteran of a war, nodding along in agreement instead of saying, no, 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 I did serve my country and I did it honorably, but I never went to a war zone.
In a time when J.D. Vance tried to go after Tim Walz for his military record, which has backfired massively on them, Swift Boat 2.0 did not work like the first one. Fail. Brought us back to Donnie Trump's bone spurs. You know, cadet bone spurs who could not go to Vietnam. Although he did say his own personal Vietnam was not getting an STD in the 70s.
Dating is like being in Vietnam. You're the equivalent of a soldier going over to Vietnam. And if you have any guilt about not having gone to Vietnam, right, we have our own Vietnam. It's called the dating game.
Did you say that more people were killed by women in this act than killed in Vietnam?
Yes.
Okay.
That is true.
And you know, you get criticized for that statement, but that statement is very easy.
I even went as far to say that you're braver than any Vietnam vet because you're out there screwing a lot of women. Oh, come on.
Congressional Medal of Honor in actuality.
If you've seen some of the women he's been with, or even married, you might agree.
I haven't washed my hands since you last touched it.
Oh my God, that's disgusting.
And look, I've left the toilet just as it was the night we went to prom. It's the little piece of you that's kept your memory alive.
But he's disrespected soldiers multiple times.
He's not a war hero. He's a war hero. He's a war hero.
5.5 years.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured.
He couldn't remember my husband's name. The only way he remembered my husband's name because he told me he had my husband report in front of him. And that's when he actually said, La David.
You know, something very nice just happened to me. A man came up to me and he handed me his Purple Heart. And I said, man, that's like big stuff. I always wanted to get the Purple Heart.
So this guy got up on stage and he said that he was talking about Miriam Edelson, I guess, you know, Edelson's wife, that jackass who used to give tons of money to Republicans. And it's medals of freedom versus medals of honor. Medals of freedom go to your biggest donors. You want a list of the types of people he's given medals of freedom to? Real heavy hitters on the sort of moral scale. You know, Mother Teresa. Oh no, Jim Jordan, the guy that ignored kids being molested in a shower. Rush Limbaugh, oxy freak and right-wing nut, lover of the word feminazi. Who else has made this illustrious list? Oh, Tiger Woods. I think he may have actually cheated on his wife with more women than Donald Trump. There's a couple others. Angelin Scalia, guy who used the word originalism to destroy our Supreme Court. Orrin Hatch betrayed everything he believed in. And Arthur Laffer. Yes, one of the reasons we have the huge debts and Donald Trump spent so much more money than he brought in and created this huge debt was the silly Laffer curve drawn on a napkin that doesn't work, that says if you cut taxes on rich people, we all benefit. We don't. They put it in Swiss banks. So he basically got up and said that kind of a medal that you give to donors and ideologues and lunatics is more important than the Medal of Honor. Right at a time where he's being criticized on military issues. Because you may remember he told John Kelly, his chief of staff and a military guy, that he saw the people that were hurt as, quote, suckers and losers. And he didn't want to go get his hair wet at a large ceremony when he was, I believe, in France. He didn't understand. He didn't get the concept. In fact, he gave away who he is by saying, I don't get it. They sacrificed for their country, for other people. Who does that? Because you see, medals of freedom are given to people that did something for Donald Trump. That's the most important thing you can ever do. Medals of honor are given to people that did something for their country. They sacrificed. Now, that's something Donald Trump just can't understand. Who would do that? So he got up and he said this, which was insane.
I have to say, Miriam,
I watched Sheldon sitting so proud in the White House when we gave Miriam the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's the highest award you can get as a civilian. It's the equivalent of the Congressional Medal of Honor, but civilian version. It's actually much better because everyone gets the Congressional Medal of Honor. That's soldiers. They're either in very bad shape because they've been hit so many times by bullets, or they're dead. She gets it, and she's a healthy, beautiful woman. It's